So, it's good to know. At my mom's house, we follow a lot of like news and politics and stuff. And one of my favorite punching bags is, you know, how every 4 years there's always like that crazy person in the presidential candidates. You know, it used to be like George Bush, who always thought was going to be like mandating cowboy hats and stuff for the United States. But now it's the three Republicans that are being really focused on: Rick Santorum, Mitt Romney, and Newt Gingrich. And Newt Gingrich, who I swear his dad has to be named Salamander. He's going around, he's just like, he's really confident he's going to get elected. He's just like, I'm going to fix our budget crisis, and by the time you all elect me for my second term in office, we will have a moon base. And when they get 30,000 people, they'll petition to become the 51st State of the Union. Suck it, Washington, D.C. And so then there's like Mitt Romney, and I'm pretty sure he like stole money from his own company, like didn't borrow or stole it to pay for his own company. So he wants to do that with America now. He's like, we're not going to accept Chinese or European money to pay for America's debt. We're going to use American money to pay for America's debt. And you know, that's just self-explanatory when it comes to stupidity. And then there's Rick Santorum, who's like a religious nut job. And because he's going around, he's like, we have to get back to constitutional America, you know, and that involves putting Bibles back in every school in the United States. And then he's like, you know, all this crazy stuff. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but he claims, like, whenever people like get on his case about this, especially when it comes to the stuff about like, you know, gay people and stuff, where it comes to that with Republicans, it's always just like, yeah, no, I don't hate them. I have gay friends. I just don't support them in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I go to Shepherd's High School, and I played on their freshman team, and it was pretty fun, their freshman football team. But for any contact sport, before you can play, you have to do this thing called the impact test. And when you first hear it, everyone was thinking, "What? You're not going to hit us over the head with something, are you?" So 3 of us actually showed up in the locker room with the helmets on, because we did legitimately think that's what was going to happen. And we got yelled at by the coach. And then, because we found out it was a computer test, so what it does, it compares your scores if you get hurt really badly and they think you have a concussion. So one kid, our backup center, got trucked on the line, and he had to go straight back in, and they were probably doing all his like tests and stuff. So as I was like one of the last people leaving the locker room, he came back in all red in the face, like tears out of his eyes, like, I'm going to be out for 4 weeks, I have that bad a concussion. I'm like, okay, calm down, man. And he doesn't calm down, he punches a locker and breaks his hand. And so I was like, yeah, now 8 to 12, how's that? And so as an added bonus, he's like going around saying, thinking all these like all badass because he dented a dented locker, because someone had taken a bat to that locker earlier. And he said it's because someone called him fat, so I'm always like following behind him, like 10 feet behind him, like, he didn't get called fat. And speaking of school, we have like these, for work study, you have to work with janitors to pay off any financial aid you need. And one of our janitors, Frank, really nice guy, but he's also really random, and he's from Hollis. So that wasn't a joke. So apparently he's really obsessed with Hollis. Like we cut to calling these Frankisms. He's like, if you do something great, he's like, well, there you go, governor, you know, if you were in Hollis, you're doing it the right way. People will love you for that. And it's like, if you do something really right, he has the crazy saying, it's like, oh, well, praise the Lord and pass the ketchup. And but if you screw something up, he's like, no, governor, if you were in Hollis, you'd do it this way. Hollis does it this way. And so that can get on people's nerves pretty quick. And one kid, after the midterms that he got a low grade on, he snapped. He like snapped. He's finally had enough of hearing a Frankism about Hollis. He's like, Frank, no one cares about Hollis. He's like, well, why do you say that, governor? It sucks. And so yeah, and he's, like I said, he can be really random. So I was in the library with my friend Taylor the other day and like 4 or 5 other people. We were using the computers, and then Frank is down the hall and he starts singing "Have a Holly Jolly Christmas." And you know how like in like old cartoons where like Scooby-Doo where it's like people are sticking their head out the door but they're all kind of stacked on top of each other? We all did that. And so we have a math teacher there, Mr. Morris, and he's really cool dude. He's one of my favorite teachers. And he's like, we've kind of averaged this out. He can break off and start doing random tangents about stuff. So we've made an average of about, let's say he does about 10 to 15 minutes per day of really hardcore math, and then 35 minutes of Morrisisms. And so he'll be like this. So he'll be like, all right, now write this down, write this down. If you take x times y plus z to the free radical of 7, you get 8. 8. Now, did I ever tell you about the time I went to see the Denver Broncos? Yeah. And so the other day, I was watching the movie. I watched Joe Dirt, and I saw one of my favorite actors, and it's Christopher Walken, better known as Bruce Dickinson. Yes, the Bruce Dickinson. And it took me a while, but once he started talking to a fire extinguisher, I realized he's pretty random. And I can actually imagine this scenario if he called you on your phone. He'd be like, "Hello, this is Christopher Walken. I have a story I would like to tell you. 2 mice fall into a bucket of cream." I'm sorry. The first one, he drowns. The second one, struggles until he drowns. The moral of the story is do not fall into a bucket of cream. Yeah, and just before I go, Cooper has been like telling us he's homeschooled, so I just have to ask, is your school dance incredibly awkward?